In this video, I'm going to tell you the secrets of crushing Machine Strike in Horizon Forbidden West. Subscribe to the Linus Wilson channel. We give you the secrets to crush Horizon Forbidden West. So there's a bunch of Machine Strike secrets that nobody is telling you that will allow you to beat all 16 Machine Strike challengers and get all 11 skill points from this minigame in Horizon Forbidden West. And if you do half of what I tell you here, you can beat every Machine Strike challenger without really understanding the game. You just need to follow some of my advice here. Machine Strike is all about the Slaughterspine. It's the most powerful piece on the board. You can only buy it from one vendor, and you only need to have that one piece. Of all the pieces that you could purchase or win, the Slaughterspine is the only piece you need. But I know there's a lot of you out there that just want to get the Platinum Trophy, just want to beat 2 Machine Strike challengers as quickly as possible, and you don't care about beating all 16 challengers, and you don't care about getting the 11 skill points for doing so. For you, I will tell you how you can beat the first 2 challengers right now. For the rest, I'm going to give you a timestamp if you want to skip ahead to the Slaughterspine secret. To get that bronze trophy, number 1, tutorials don't count towards that trophy. The only thing that counts is the challenge. So you do the first challenge with that beginner strike player in the pub in Chainscrape. There's only 2 pieces. You don't have a choice of the pieces, so you can't buy pieces and bring them in there. There are 2 things you need to know for Machine Strike. 1, it's always better to be on high ground. 2, the pointy part of your piece should attack the rounded part of their piece in almost all cases. But you can attack pointy to pointy if your piece can approach from higher ground or level ground. 3, try to avoid getting your piece surrounded. That is, don't go mad rushing towards their pieces. You want to wait until one of their isolated pieces gets close to you while you're hiding on high ground. And when they get within range, which is usually within 2 shots, 2 spaces, then attack. And then once you attack them, when they're on the low ground and you're on the higher ground or the level ground, do an overcharge to finish off their piece, because you're better off finishing them off than letting them attack you in the next round. For the Chainscrape lady, you cannot use external strike pieces, but her first challenge is so easy that you should be able to do it. When you go past the first lady, all challenges are the same. You can have a maximum of 10 victory points on the board, and your victory points are based on how good of pieces there are. And there's only one piece that has 10 victory points, and that's the Slaughterspine, and that's the only piece you want to use once you leave Chainscrape. But if you haven't got the Slaughterspine yet, you can use the pieces that you get in Chainscrape from the beginner player and use the strategies that I told you there, and you'll be able to beat on one board the Barren Light beginner strike player. So if you want to play any more opponents after Barren Light or more than 2 boards, then you should wait until you have almost completed Kulrut, and before you turn in the subordinate AI, there's going to be 2 exclamation marks for this main quest that are going to show up in the Memorial Grove, where the Tanakh capital is. One of those is 2 ladies that want to open the arena. You want to do their fetch quest to open the arena, and that should unlock the person who will sell you the Slaughterspine Strike. She's going to be to the right of the door to the arena where you start your arena challenges. You go up, make a left. Her apprentice is going to be sitting there. She'll say she won't play you, but she will sell you every strike piece possible. If you have been farming machines for a long time, you should be able to buy every one of these. But if you haven't, you only need one. It's the Slaughters, which is the one of 2 golds. Now, I highly recommend that you do all these challenges, maybe even after you completed the main quests. But if you want the skill points earlier, I highly recommend that you go for the Slaughterspine piece after you have cheesed the arena. So if you change the difficulty settings to story, there are no difficulty trophies. Do every challenge in the arena. That should take you an hour at most. They do charge you shards for that. We've got videos on how you can farm shards. And you're going to buy the Nora Thunder Warrior and the Forge Fall. And you should buy all the legendary weapons and armor in the arena. But in particular, you want to upgrade the Nora Thunder Warrior to the max level if you can stand it, and the Forge Fall to the max level. And if you do that, then you are going to be able to do 2,000 damage if you get the mods that I suggest: Stealth, Range Plus, the High Ground 25%. All these are 25%. The Range plus Long Range plus 25% mods. Put all those 5 mods onto your Forge Fall. Do a brace shot, which is a technique. You should be doing 2,000 damage. And on normal difficulty, you should be able to 4-shot the Slaughterspine. No problem. Could farm that forever if you wanted to. You only need 2 Circulator to buy the strike piece. So the Circulator is a 70% drop. So typically you're gonna have to kill the Slaughterspine on the beach 3 times. Maybe more, maybe less, but it's really easy. If you've got a smoke bomb, you should use the smoke bomb to get into stealth. You want to be in stealth, you'll do the max damage. That's where you have a question mark or less. With the North Thunder Warrior, you should be able to get off 2 shots, 2 brace shots, take off half their health on normal difficulty, run around, get back into stealth, get your stamina up. You'll be able to do 2 more brace shots, and the Slaughterspine will go down with Aloy taking no or minimal damage because you're using the high grass. You're not doing something stupid by running up and down the beach where the Slaughterspine can trample you. And you're good. You got your circulators. You go back, you buy those from Leiktteh, the final boss of all the strike. Okay, so once you have the Slaughterspine, you just use the tips that I gave you to get at the beginning of this video. Just focus on the high ground. Don't get drawn out on the low ground. Don't let yourself get surrounded. When you have a chance to attack a piece on lower ground or the same ground as your Slaughterspine, take that advantage. Use the overcharge to finish off the pieces. There are 3 beginners. You want to do all 3 beginners? There are 3 intermediates. Do all 3 intermediates. Each time you complete all 3 boards of all 3 strike players of a certain level, you get 2 skill points. So the 3 boards of the 3 strike players, that's 9 boards of the beginners. There's going to be 3 players of intermediate, 3 players of experience. There's going to be 3 players of expert, and there's going to be 3 players of skilled. So in order, you want to do beginner, intermediate, skilled, experienced, expert. So you've beaten 15 players. The last expert is at the apprentice of Leiktteh in the arena. He's definitely the hardest strike player there is. So if you're having trouble with him, don't despair. He is actually the true boss. Leiktteh is kind of like the Enduring and the Melee Pits. If you've done them, she's a pussycat. She's not very difficult, but you have to beat the experts to get to her. She's going to give you, the first time you beat her, you're going to get 1 skill point for a total of 11 skill points for the 5 different levels of strike players, 2 for each level, and then the boss Leiktteh 1, and she'll give you a bonus game which will just give you shards, and you can play that or not play that if you want. The final thing is that there is a trophy room in the base, and to fill the trophy room with all the strike trophies, that is your strike pieces, you can either win them from winning all those 16 challengers, or you can buy them and have it immediately. So I'd done a lot of farming by the time I got serious about strike after I got the platinum trophy, and so the only one that I needed the special machine parts, because I wasn't selling my other machine parts, was the Slaughterspine, because the Slaughterspine circulator is used for legendary upgrades, but all the other ones are not really used for upgrades. And so you should have a lot of these and be able to buy out Leiktteh with no problem. I think the other thing that nobody's going to tell you is that you do not need multiples of these pieces. It allows you to hold at least 4 pieces of each type at a time, but you don't need 4 slaughter spines. You just need 1 slaughter spine piece, and you definitely don't need multiples of the other pieces. So I got 4 fire claws because I had a lot of fire claw circulators, because of fire claw sack webbing is important for legendary upgrades. But I sometimes played with fire claws, but you never would need 4 because you could only put 1 per board. If you have a high level piece, you're only going to be able to place 1 per board, right? If the piece's victory points are 5 or are 6 or more, you can only put that 1 piece on there. And I guess the other trick is that the final trick is that if there's a piece that has 7 or more victory point, right? If that piece is lost, the game is lost because you need 7 victory points to win a game. So that's why the Slaughterspine is so valuable, is because they have to kill a 10 victory point piece, your opponent, to win the game, which means that if you put in a fire claw or something else that has 7 to 9 victory points, it's a lot easier for your opponent to win the game than it is for the Slaughterspine, which has 10 victory points and 15 health points. Subscribe to the Linus Wilson channel. We give you the secrets to crush Horizon Forbidden West. Enjoy Machine Strike.